Mr. Goyer, hi again.
Yeah.
You took one of the most complicated story that's ever been written. So many people have discovered science fiction with Foundation. My aunt, she gave me those books and she said, "Here's that's the beginning of science fiction." So, what's your story with Foundation? Why did you want to tell that story now? Do you think Foundation echoes more nowadays than 20, 40 years ago?
I had a very similar experience. My father gave me the trilogy when I was 13 and said, "This is the greatest work of science fiction that's ever been written. You need to read it. You need to embrace it." I think when Foundation first came out, it was the first work of science fiction that was taken seriously. Science fiction had been considered pulp before that. Asimov was writing it in a post World War II environment. That was 70 years ago. We live in a very different environment today. But I would argue that Foundation is even more relevant now, today, 70 years later, than it was when Asimov was writing it. Asimov's central idea was that history repeats itself.
It
And we
does.
go through these cycles, and that humanity makes the same mistakes over and over again. And that if we study the past, maybe we can correct some of our mistakes and not fall into the same traps again. When Asimov was writing it, the world had already gone through a pandemic, the flu pandemic in 1917. The world had already gone through the rise of nationalism. There had been various degrees of, climate crises involving the Industrial Revolution, and we're still going through all of that today.
We are.
We weren't going through a global pandemic when we started filming this project, and it's eerie how more prescient everything has become in the months and years since it's taken us to finish this. The central thing is that Foundation is a story of hope, and it's an optimistic story. And Asimov believed in the human spirit and in human ingenuity, and I hope that's what's going to carry us through these times, and that's certainly the message of the show.
It is a beautiful message. Would you say that the show is exactly how you imagined it? Is your vision complete?
It's pretty close. I mean, there are always little things that you wish, I wish I could go back and change that. But I would say more or less the show that we're birthing, that we're bringing to the world, is pretty much what I had in mind from the very beginning.
Are we going to enjoy a decade of Foundation on our screens? What about season two?
That's up to you and your listeners and your viewers. I hope so. I had to present an 8-season plan to Apple. They wanted to know that I knew where I was going. I hope we get to arrive at that destination. I'm excited about it.
I don't see why it wouldn't, honestly. Thank you so much, Mr. Goyer, for your time. It was so nice to see you, and congratulations again.
Thank you so much.